Just a very quick thing before we hop into today's video. This Sunday we will be hosting our very first ever live webinar. If you want to learn how you can be making an extra 2K per month creating content with your smartphone, then click that first link down below. We have limited seats, there are still a couple available, but they're going fast, so sign up now and I'll see you on Sunday. But now let's start with the video. In this video I'll show you start to finish how you can make epic seamless transitions using your Galaxy S23 Ultra. For some shots I will be using the smartphone handheld, and for other shots I will also be using the Science Smooth 5S. I'll show you step by step how you can shoot the transitions, and then later on I will also show you how you can edit the transitions. But now Alex, please tilt up to the sky. Alright, so welcome back to the channel. In case you're new here, welcome. My name is Julian, and on this channel we talk about making better videos using our smartphones. And please comment down below, what did you think about the epic B-roll sequence? Considering this was all shot on a smartphone, I think it looked pretty damn good. When it comes to the settings for these kinds of videos, I always like to shoot them in 4K because this gives me the flexibility to resize my shot if I need to. And I also like to film these at 60 frames per second, because then I just have more options in the post-production to slow down my shot, but also to speed it up. So I just like having the flexibility that 60 frames give me. But now I would say let's start off with the first shot that you saw after this intro. All right, so the goal with the first shot is that we use the tilt up that we had in the intro sequence and use that to start and, to cue off our epic seamless transition sequence. So what I will be doing, as you can see, you can now see my screen. We have this very nice looking view down here, and this is what I want to use. I try to center Alex in the frame. I long press on the screen to lock my focus and the exposure. You can see I'm in 4K at 60 frames per second. I'm using my gimbal, and now I'm tilting upwards. And Alex, actually in 3, 2, 1 you can start. And now I'm tilting downwards and walking forwards. So this was the first shot. Something that's a very hot tip for you. Always, whenever you're making these kinds of videos, always double check your shots. And if you have the time, make sure to take a second take of the same shot, just so that you have more options in the post-production, and just so, to make sure that you really get the shot. All right, so the next transition will be shot handheld. I will be using the 1x lens, and this transition is called the masking transition. The idea is that Alex is walking here on this path. I will slowly but surely, pan to the right, and then at the end I will become faster, and I want to block the entire image with this tree right there. So, all right, so with this shot again, it is important to lock the focus and the exposure, because especially in woods, it's changing constantly. So I hit record, and now Alex, you can start. I pan. All right, so the follow-up shot, of course, has to have the same motion. So you have to, if you have been moving from left to right like we have been doing, then you have to keep the same movement like before. And I'm again also shooting handheld, and we have this very nice view right here, and we will use, this tree that we have right here as our foreground, and the goal is to start behind this tree and then reveal the nice view and the church right here. And then I'm also thinking about also shooting this with a 10x lens afterwards, and then maybe we can even make a zoom in transition once again. So what I'm doing right now is I try to frame my final shot as I want to have it afterwards. So this, I think, looks pretty good. I'm shooting this with a 3x lens, and again also in 4K at 60 frames, so this looks pretty nice. So I start a recording, and then again, I cover the lens with a tree right here, and then move just from left to right. Let's do this a couple of times, because especially when shooting with closer focal lengths, it gets pretty shaky and pretty difficult to frame the shot. So I think that was it right now. It probably took me like I don't know, 15, 20 different takes until I finally got something that looked somehow okay. So like I said, especially when you're using tighter focal lengths, then make sure to take more shots than you think. And I have ended the last shot with a tilt upwards, and now I want to use this motion to, you know, take a shot of the church one more time with a 10x lens right now, with the periscope lens. And I also want to, you know, tilt upwards and then show the nice details with the nice periscope lens. Again, using a very tight focal length handheld right here will probably take me a couple of shots. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Stabilization is actually crazy good of the Samsung. All right, so the next transition is called the match cut transition, and this is a super simple transition if you're using a 3-axis gimbal. Again, I will be using the Scion Smooth 5S for this, and we will be shooting this behind these trees right there, because as you can see, we have a very nice depth right here, and this should be looking pretty damn good. The idea is to have Alex walking in front of me, and then I try to keep the same distance all the time. I try to center him in the dead center of the frame, and then we will do the exact same thing at a different location. All right, so as you can see, I have framed Alex now in the center of my frame, and we now have the tracking activated, but I do not want that. So I just long press on the screen to lock the focus and the exposure. I'm shooting on the ultra wide angle lens, and I'm just hitting the record button, and then I just say 3, 2, 1, go. Then I try to keep the same distance, and that should be pretty much it. And now all we need to do is find a second location and do the exact same shot. All right, so the next transition will be the zoom in transition, and it's basically also very simple to create. I'm again using the 3-axis gimbal, and I'm just hitting the record button right here. So this is what I can see right now. And we have this very nice looking stair, and at the top here we have a nice statue. And the goal is to start off the recording with an ultra wide angle, a push in basically, and then I want to have this nice zoom in effect where we can then see the statue in a close-up. So that's basically the idea. And then the second shot will be basically the same, but instead of shooting with the 0.06 lens, we will just, you know, try the 3x lens or maybe even the 10x lens to see how this looks. All right, so welcome to the editing process for this epic transition sequence that you have already seen. Now that you know how you can shoot these videos, now I will walk you a bit through the entire editing process. And I have been using Premiere Pro for this edit, but basically you can be using like whatever software that you would like to use. You can also make a video like this directly on your smartphone. More about that is coming very, very soon. So make sure to subscribe to not miss that. So a transition sequence like this might look pretty complex to create, but actually the entire editing process is a lot easier than you might think. So what you can see right here, this is the transition sequence, and these are the video clips. So as you can see, there is not a lot going on compared to the audio that you can see down below. And talking about audio brings me to the audio part of this video, because in my opinion, having nice sounding music, nice sound effects, and also nice ambient sounds is what makes this video, you know, as unique as it was in the end. And this is what, you know, separates amateur and okay looking videos to videos that stand out from the usual videos that you see all the time. Since this entire transition sequence is pretty short, I wanted to have a fast and rock music. So what I did is basically I went to Artlist, went over to music, and then I was basically, you know, picking my video theme. And in this case, I was picking urban, because I wanted to have a bit of an urban feeling. And then I went over to genre, and like I said, I wanted to have rock, so I also dialed that in. And then Artlist basically, you know, just gives me, you know, basically countless of different options. And then I just went through the different clips, and yeah, I just, you know, listened to a bunch of different options that Artlist was providing me. And as you can see, this one is the one that I was downloading, so I just tap on that very quickly. The music that I was using for this video is called The Firegate from Alex Grohl. And yeah, I think it sounded very, very nice. I really liked it. And yeah, this is what I ended up using. If we take another look at the entire edit, this, what you can see here at the bottom, this is the music that we have just been talking about, and everything that you can see above here, this is all ambient sounds and sound effects and, you know, different types of sounds to just enhance the entire edits. So what I was doing is basically I was just looking at the different clips, and this clip, for example, is in the woods and a person is walking. So I was searching for different sound effects of ambience of woods basically, and also a person walking on dirt basically. So let's see what we have right here. This is of course also from Artlist, and this is walking crunchy footsteps. This is what it sounds like. And basically what I was doing for the transitions, for example, I went here over 2 sound effects, and then I was searching for whoosh sound effects. It's very simple, and then you again have countless of different options. And then basically you just pick what you like. And for the ambient sounds, I was also just searching for woods, for example, not tiger woods this time. And then basically I just picked, you know, whatever fitted best for my video. And yeah, this is how I got the music and the sound effects for this video. And yes, Artlist is very kindly sponsoring this video, but I'm using Artlist anyways. They have more than 25,000 different songs, more than 27,000 different sound effects. So if you're searching for high quality music and sound effects for your videos, then check out the link down below. Then you will get 2 extra free months when picking an annual plan. So thank you very much, Artlist, for sponsoring and supporting this channel. But now let's come back to the entire sequence, and I wanted to include this intro shot in the final B-roll transition sequence already. So what we did is we ended the first shot, you know, we actually were whipping up to the sky. So what you can see, this is the raw clip. So we were actually wiping up to the sky, and the goal was to finish this off with an completely white background. And the next shot actually started the same way. Unfortunately, due to the fact that the S23 Ultra has such a high dynamic range, we could not, make this completely white. But with just a quick cross dissolve transition, we managed to, make this transition sort of seamless. If we take a closer look here at this clip, then I was also starting it off with a bit of a speed ramp because the original shot just took way too long. And like this, it's just a bit more dynamic and it just looks a bit cooler. So it starts off faster and then it slows down to 100% of the speed. For the entire video, I was also adding a cinema scope because I just think it just looks a bit more cinematic, and also, with the nice leading lines that we have in this video, I just thought it would, it just would look a bit nicer. So the transition here to the next shot is basically just a hard cut, so no transition there. Then we have this walking shot, and like I've said before, we were planning to, use this tree as our transition. And actually what I did is I again just started off this clip with a speed ramp. So it started off fast, then it goes slow, and then it speeds up again fast. And then I was just searching for a spot where it sort of looked similar. It's not perfect, but in the motion you cannot really see it. And then again, I was just adding a swoosh sound effect from Artlist. The next clip basically, is also, it starts off fast and then it's just a regular speed. Then I was adding a zoom in transition with another swoosh sound effect, and in the background I added some church bells, also from Artlist. And these are just the small things that just add up to this video and that make it just, like I said before, just stand out from the usual videos. So there we have the zoom in transition. Then we have the church bells in the background. And also here when Alex is walking in the woods, I have the footsteps. We have the footsteps, and then I also have some ambient sounds of the woods right there. Then there is nothing special going on. Again, a bit of a speed ramp for this clip. So I just, sped it up at the beginning, but that's it. And then I was adding this light leak transition right here. This is a very nice and easy way to hide a cut like this. And I also got this from Artlist because I have the full membership. So there you can also download some footage also. And yeah, you can use this for transitions like this. With the next shot, basically, I was again just using speed ramps. And then here I was also adding some directional blur to fake a bit of the motion blur that I did not have. Again, a bit of a swoosh down below. Nothing special going on there. Then we have a wipe upwards transition. You can use, you basically have transitions like this in any editor these days, no matter if it's Final Cut. You also have this in VN, for example, if you are editing on your phone. So nothing special there going on. Then again, we have a hard cut, and then we have this nice blink and you'll miss it transition, or however you want to call it. I think in the video I called it the match cut transition, and I will show you why it's a match cut. Because if we go frame by frame, you can see it matches pretty perfectly fine, and this is what creates this nice effect. And then the way on how I was doing this effect right here is I basically just cut out, you know, each individual frame or each other frame, and then you get this nice blinking effect. And then yeah, I was also adding a sound effect right there. This one was pretty difficult to find because I was searching for a blinking sound effect, and it was pretty difficult to describe like what I was searching for. But then I was finding this vinyl, like how's it called in English? Comment down below. But I was basically finding this sound effect right here, and it worked pretty fine. And that's basically it. That's the entire, you know, editing process for this, you know, transition sequence. To be honest, the editing for this only took like 20-30 minutes. Like I said, it's nothing special at all. If you plan your shots up front, if you film them in the way on how you like them, if you already have a plan on how the transition sequence should be looking like, then editing a sequence like this is basically a piece of cake. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you now got a bit of a better understanding on how I made this video. Of course, I did not go super in depth into the editing right now, because otherwise this video would be like 2 hours long. If you want to learn more and much more in depth on how I make these kinds of videos, then you can click the first link down below, that like button. There you will find a link to our online course called Smartphone Filmmaking Pro. There you will find more than 240 tutorials, and there I'm much more in depth going into the details on how I make these kinds of videos. In case you have not seen the video where I'm comparing the iPhone 14 Pro to the S23 Ultra, then click this video over there.